Hey everyone, it's Scott Poland here with Chestnut Park. In today's video, I want to talk about navigating the whole search process as well as going toward an offer. I can't stress this enough. At the very beginning, I've done videos before this. You've probably heard me talk about this, but I can't say it enough to make sure you get a full pre-approval, not a pre-qualify. Okay, make sure you're handing in all your documents, credit checks. You're doing it all with your mortgage agent to make sure you get a concrete number back and then start looking at homes. It's one thing to look online and visualize you living in that home, but it's another to make sure your number and your wants and needs are aligned. Because I've seen it from time to time. Someone starts looking at homes, they get really excited about homes, then they get their pre-approval and they can't afford anywhere close to that number. It really sets that person up for failure because it's gonna be really hard to get them out of that mindset when they're shopping in their actual price range. So you wanna set that expectation before you even start looking at homes. If you're buying your home with a partner, I would highly recommend you both doing a must-have and a nice-to-have. Now, whatever's on the must-have, if this house does not have it and we can't do it, do not show it to me. I don't wanna see the house. Okay, that's how important this must-have list is. It should be quite small because oftentimes people can add or make changes or they can alter the house to suit that. And oftentimes when we start looking at houses, the must-have list can shrink because if you start looking at houses and whatever is on your must-have list is not in that price range, you have to readjust your expectations. So make sure you go through that list and then you and your partner come together and actually go through it again to determine what is truly on that list. And then your agent should be well aware of both those lists because as we preview homes, as we look at homes, we're gonna have a sense if this house is gonna work or not. Okay, then the searching starts. You're gonna start looking. You maybe go to open houses. Maybe you've already done that, which is fine, but I would highly recommend doing all that after the pre-approval is in place. Now, when a house hits the market, you can determine already where it's located on a map. Does that location work? Does that street work? Is it really busy? Like, is there things within that area that are not going to work for you? You should be able to determine this on your computer without going to see the home. So you're going to really minimize the amount of times you go out viewing homes if you practice this. And to be honest, COVID really taught us agents because we couldn't freely just show homes as easy as we once could. This type of approach became very, very important in the search process. We only showed our buyers homes that they would be willing to make an offer should things inside look the way they do online. Okay, so it's very critical that you do that work before viewing a home and your agent will help with that. So when it comes to, I can't live on a busy road, I can't live near train tracks, I don't want to live too close to industrial area, things like that, this can all be determined just on your computer with your agent. So now you have found a home, you want to make an offer, which is super exciting, stressful, overwhelming, all at the same time. So you want to make sure that your agent is pulling comparable homes for the neighborhood. Now they're going to look at, ideally it's like in close proximity, but there's also a bunch of neighborhoods within Guelph that I can pull comps to say, like, you know what, these ones sold in this price range and in this neighborhood, but it's a very comparable neighborhood that we're looking at. So we can pull comps that way to make sure you have a full understanding of what market value is, because a seller can ask any price they want for a home. Doesn't necessarily mean it's anywhere close to market value. So it's critical that your agent does that for you. You will get an understanding on value as you're viewing homes, as you're seeing sale prices, things like that. But that is the big ticket item. Now, depending on the market you're in, if you're in a hot market, you're gonna have to act very, very quickly. So if you walk into a home and you're like, this is perfect, you got the warm and fuzzies when you walked in that door, you might have to act very quickly. Your conditions might have to be very, very tight, meaning a very short period, and your price needs to be very sharp. Now, if you are in more of a balanced market or a buyer's market, you've got maybe time to sleep on it. You can have a longer conditional period. You can even have a sale property condition. Things like that can be added. Lots of different clauses can be added to protect you as the buyer. Now, when making the offer, it's going to come down to price, conditions, clauses, closing dates, chattels, and fixtures are the big ones that comes into play. If the home you're buying has purchased another home, aligning those closing dates might be critical. This improves your offer with that seller. And what else helps with your offer is if you do have that pre-approval. If you have a commitment letter from a lender saying you can afford up to X amount, That listing agent, knowing that you've already gone down that road, makes you more appealing to the seller because you're organized. Penciling in a home inspection, if that's one of your conditions ahead of time, when you do the offer with your agent, that could also make you more appealing because again, you're organized, you're ready to get this condition wrapped up right after the home inspection. So that's one way to make your offer more appealing to the seller, maybe help with negotiations on price. And then next steps. Once the offer is accepted, don't celebrate too early. There's a bit of a condition, there could be a conditional period there. There's a lot happening in that conditional period. So if it's financing a home inspection, which are pretty typical we see these days, you got to make sure you go through the inspection, be there with your inspector, ask all the questions you have. He or she's going to guide you through how the home operates, very, very critical elements within the home, and just bring your questions and they're there to help make you comfortable with your choice. And then also their job is to pinpoint all the deficiencies, big or small. So be aware that you're not going to walk into a home inspection and it's going to be clean. A clean bill of health. That's just not going to happen. That is not the inspector's job. And then after you have fulfilled those conditions, so again, back to financing and inspection, your lender's happy, you are happy with the home inspection, or maybe there was a major issue that came up in the home inspection, your agent can negotiate either a discount on the price, or maybe the seller agrees to do the work prior to closing. There's different things that get negotiated after a home inspection if the item's large. At the end of the day, if you're buying a used house, there's going to be little issues here and there. That's all home ownership. I'm talking bigger ticket items that we want to negotiate on and go back and forth with the seller. So if you have any questions about the offer process, the search process, reach out to myself, our team. We're happy to guide you through this. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe and it'd be great to hear from you. Thanks.